Parsha Shalach Tavshin Pei. I see we have a lot of new people here tonight. So just want to let you know that we do a Nesivos Shalom Shelach here every Thursday night for the past 10 and a half years. And everybody's welcome, and I appreciate the cooperation everybody gives each week. And this week's Parsha begins by telling us about the Meraglim. It's this week's Parsha here in Chutz La'aretz in Eretz Yisrael. You're already learning Parsha's Koirach this week. But the Meraglim is actually a very, very complicated and complex subject. You know, on the surface, they wanted to send Meraglim. The spies went into Eretz Yisrael, and we know what happened. But really, what happened and what transpired is a lot deeper than it seems. And what happens here, the spies, they go into Eretz Yisrael, and they come back, and in their own way, they have some very, let's say, unflattering things to say about Eretz Yisrael. And really, we need to keep in mind that when we say Meraglim, we're not talking about some people that are hired as detectives, people that are hired to go in as spies. The Torah tells us at the beginning of the Parsha who these Meraglim were. These Meraglim were Rashi B'nai Yisrael Hema. These were the most chashuva people in Klal Yisrael. It's unbelievable. You think about it. Normally, who would you send in to be a spy? Who would be Meraglim? No, you wouldn't necessarily think, but by Klal Yisrael, the people that went into Eretz Yisrael to scout out the land, these were the most chashuva people from each shevet, the most chashuva people in Klal Yisrael. These were very, very great men. And like we said, they came back and they didn't have such great things to say over about Eretz Yisrael. And then what happens? Kalev and Yeshua speak up. And they say about Eretz Yisrael, they say, wait a second. What you're saying about Eretz Yisrael is not true. That we need to understand, say Kalev and Yeshua, Toivo ha'oretz ma'oid ma'oid. Not only is Eretz Yisrael good, but Eretz Yisrael is Toivo ha'oretz ma'oid ma'oid. It is exceedingly good. That's how good Eretz Yisrael is. And the Nesivos Shalom tells us that if the Torah tells us that something is Toivo ha'oretz ma'oid ma'oid, that something is not just good, because you know, by the creation, by beginning, you see a lot of times something is toiv ma'oid, something is one ma'oid, but if the Torah tells us ma'oid ma'oid, then it certainly does not just mean gashmias. The Torah doesn't say exceedingly good about things of gashmias. We think when we see something beautiful, we travel somewhere, we see, oh, this is exceedingly beautiful. What are we referring to? We refer to the gashmias. We refer to the physical aspects of what we're looking at. But if the Torah says, ma'oid, ma'oid, says in the Nesivos Shalom, it's definitely talking about ruchnias. Something ruchnias in Eretz Yisrael. The Torah Sa'avos brought down in the Nesivos Shalom, he brings from the Saba Kadisha Melechevich something very, very interesting. And he says that this ma'oid ma'oid, the fact that the Torah uses such a lashon, in order to know what it really is, we need to look for somewhere else that we have this terminology of ma'oid ma'oid. And we looked at Perkei Avos, in Perkei Avos, Perek Daled. This week in Chutz La'aretz we read Perek Gimel. In Eretz Yisrael, it's actually Perek Daled this week, so it's in this week's Perkei Avos. The Mishnah tells us, Ma'oid ma'oid heve shefal ruach. That a person shouldn't just be humble. A person shouldn't just be an anav. Ma'oid ma'oid heve shefal ruach. A person should be exceedingly humble. And as humble as you think you are, as humble as you think you're going to be, you should be more humble than that. And you should know, after I prepared the shir, I was learning today's Daf Yomi. Today's Daf Yomi has got a very, very interesting daf that talks about the Aleph Beis and different things that children saw that even Nevi'im didn't see, and all the different things that children learned from the Aleph Beis. And one of those things was about being humble. And the Rambam in Pirush Mishnayos, the Rambam brings down on this Mishnah of Ma'od Ma'od Heve Shfal Ruach, about being humble, about a person not being haughty. The Rambam says, you know, that by all other midos, a person is not supposed to be an extremist. Even in good midos, a person is not supposed to be an extremist. You're not supposed to see a person flipping out about something, about anything, going, you know, diving head first into something. When a person's supposed to be normal, in moderation, he says, except, the Rambam says, except by this midah. By this midah of being shfal ruach, of being an anav, a person's supposed to be ma'od ma'od. The Rambam paskins like that it's never enough. As humble as you think you are, you should be a little more humble than that. So the Mishnah says ma'od ma'od. It says in Nesivos Shalom, over from the Sab Kaddish Melechevich, he says, you know, that this ma'od ma'od in our parsha, this ma'od ma'od is referring to the same thing. And we need to learn the lesson, Toiva Aretz Ma'od Ma'od, about Eretz Yisrael, that Eretz Yisrael is only given to those who have the Midas Hachna. People that are Bali Gaiva, people that want to lord and run Eretz Yisrael, people that, whether it's a government or a Memshala, whatever you want to call it, people that are Bali Gaiva, Eretz Yisrael is not given to these kind of people. Eretz Yisrael is given to people that are Shfal Ruach, Ma'od Ma'od. And the Torah is telling us that lesson over here. Eretz Kenan, which is an Eretz L'nichnoim, to those that subordinate themselves, to those that are humble. So the question is really why? Why is it that way, that Eretz Yisrael is only given to people who are Shfal Ruach, that Eretz Yisrael is given to that type of people? The Medrash tells us something very interesting. Amar lo HaKadosh Baruch Hu LeMoshe. Kadosh Baruch Hu said to Moshe Rabbeinu, Hein ha'aretz chaviva alai. I have this land over here that is extremely, extremely precious to me, beloved to me. V'Yisrael chavivan li. And I also, Klal Yisrael is my beloved nation. So we have a land that's beloved to me, and we have a nation that's beloved to me. So HaKadosh Baruch Hu is the best shadchan. HaKadosh Baruch Hu says, Achnis, why not Achnis es Yisrael she'en chavivan alai? I'll take the Yidden that are so beloved to me, and I'll bring them la'aretz shel chaviv alai. I'm going to bring them into Eretz Yisrael, to the land that is chaviv to me. It's a great shidduch, perfect shidduch. But what does it mean that Hashem loves this land? What does it mean? Does it mean that Hashem Kaviyachal loves the beauty? Hashem loves the view in the Golan. Hashem loves the view of the Kinneret. He loves the view of the Yam HaMelech. No. That's not what HaKadosh Baruch Hu is talking about. Of course, Eretz Yisrael, we know, is the most exceedingly beautiful land in physical aspects too. But when HaKadosh Baruch Hu speaks about Chavivan Alai, that HaKadosh Baruch Hu Kaviyachal loves something, then Nesivos Shalom tells us that when HaKadosh Baruch Hu talks about Eretz Yisrael like that, it does not mean the Gashmias. And if you look at the Gemara Masechta Ksubas, Daf Kuf Yud on the base, says an incredible, incredible thing. And listen to this Gemara. Kol Hadar Be'eretz Yisrael. Anyone who lives and dwells in Eretz Yisrael, it's as if, it's like he has an HaKadosh Baruch Hu, he has an Hashem. It's a little scary for all of us sitting here right now, thinking that we're very comfortable. Somebody who lives in Chutz La'aretz, the Gemara Masechta Ksubas Daf Kuf Yud Amud Beis, I'm not making this up, says somebody who lives in Chutz La'aretz, it's as if he does not have a God. And so too, the Torah's Kayanim tells us also, anyone who goes out to Chutz La'aretz, Ke'ilu Oived Avodah Zarah. The Rambam in Hilchos Malachim actually paskins like that. You go out of Eretz Yisrael, it's as if you're Oived Avodah Zarah. So we really need to understand what all of this means. It's incredible, right? What does this mean? So Nesivos Shalom says, and he explains, that the tachlis of all Torah mitzvahs, and we've said this over many times, the tachlis of all Torah mitzvahs is for one purpose, that a person should be more davuk b'Hashem. Like the Zohar HaKadosh tells us, that the Taryag mitzvahs, 613 mitzvahs, are really 613 ways to get to Uvay Sidbak. There's one mitzvah of Uvay Sidbak, and everything else revolves around that. He says, Taryag Itin, 613 different ways to get to Uvay Sidbak. And the Psicha of Mesilas Yesharim, we know, Mesillas Yesharim tells us that the purpose of every person in this world is lehisaneg al Hashem, lehanus miziv shchinasai. That is the purpose of everything. Ubay sidba, to become close to HaKadosh Baruch Hu. And that's why we have mitzvahs, and that's why we do mitzvahs. So really, all of Olam Hazeh, think about it. Olam Hazeh, that's a world that we live in here, full of taivas, full of gashmias, full of different things that impede us. Everything that comes along with Olam Hazeh is counter to what we're supposed to be doing. It goes against Lehisanag al Hashem, v'leihanet miziv shchinasai, to come close to Hashem, Ubay sidba. Everything in Olam Hazeh is really against all the gashmias. It distances us from HaKadosh Baruch Hu. It doesn't bring us closer. It says in Nesivos Shalom that Hashem did us all a favor. Hashem in His great chesed gave us a few different presents to help us reach our tachlis, even in this world of gashmias, even in this world of Olam Hazeh. And there are things Hashem gave us in this world. Go find those things, and those things are going to bring you closer to Hashem. And in the realm, Nesivos Shalom speaks a lot about three different aspects of Olam, Shana, and Nefesh. And in Olam, in the world, this is Eretz Yisrael. HaKadosh Baruch Hu gave us a place. You want a place to come close to HaKadosh Baruch Hu? That's Eretz Yisrael. In Shana, which is in time, there's Shabbos. You use the Shabbos to come closer to HaKadosh Baruch Hu. And in Nefesh, for a person's soul, there's Torah. HaKadosh Baruch Hu gave us those three things. Eretz Yisrael, Shabbos, and Torah. You stick to those, you know you're on the right way. You're coming close to HaKadosh Baruch Hu. Eretz Yisrael is like a teruma that is Kodesh Lashem. Everywhere else in the world is considered the world of Gashmias. But Eretz Yisrael is for your neshama ruchni. When you breathe the rarefied air of Eretz Yisrael, you're bringing that into your neshama. It doesn't do the physical things for you. Of course, it does that too. It keeps you alive. But it is bringing ruchnias into your body. So a Yid, a Jew who is in Eretz Yisrael, has the opportunity to get that close to Hashem. And listen to what the Nesivos Shalom says. The pasuk says, Avram Avinu, that HaKadosh Baruch Hu is bringing him el haaretz asher areka, to the world that, and over there it's referring to that HaKadosh Baruch Hu, that Nevius will take place in Eretz Yisrael. HaKadosh Baruch Hu wanted to bring Avram Avinu to Eretz Yisrael. It says in Nesivos Shalom that when HaKadosh Baruch Hu told Avram Avinu el haaretz asher areka, to a land that you'll be exposed to godliness, it's talking to every single Yid for every generation. Not just that Nevuah will be in Eretz Yisrael, but every Yid, if you want to reach your potential on your own level of feeling and seeing the Shekhinah, where you and me and every other person, we all have a level that we can reach to get close to the Shekhinah. If you want to maximize that, that is only in El Haaretz Asher Areka, only in Eretz Yisrael. You might become great in Chutz La'aretz, but just know that if you were doing what you do over here, you do it in Eretz Yisrael, and you do the right things, it's exponentially better. That's where you reach your full potential. And one who gives up this great opportunity of being in Eretz Yisrael and living in Eretz Yisrael, so Gemara tells us he's giving up on being close to HaKadosh Baruch Hu. It's kamila, it's as if as if, yes, Avada, we're not saying that he's an apikoros, that he's not a chas v'shalom, but we're saying you have a chance to be that close to the Shekhinah. You have it in you. You don't realize you have more potential. You're giving up on being close to HaKadosh Baruch Hu, as close as you can be. So then we look at you, Kamila Elokah, that you don't have, that you're maybe worshiping some other God. You're not close enough to HaKadosh Baruch Hu. So the Torah tells us, Toivah ha'aretz, Ma'oid, Ma'oid. We're telling you how to come that close to HaKadosh Baruch Hu. Gemara Masechta Sotah tells us that a person who's a Baal Gaiva, HaKadosh Baruch Hu says, Ein ani v'hu yecholin lador. We can't live in the same world. HaKadosh Baruch Hu doesn't say that about people being over other Averos, but a person who's a Baal Gaiva, a person who is haughty, HaKadosh Baruch Hu says, I can't live in the same world. So Ma'oid, Ma'oid, Toivah ha'aretz, Ma'oid, Ma'oid, the lesson is that even if you're here in Chutz La'aretz, to be Shfal Ruach, to understand who you are, to understand that as much anova as you have, you can always have more. Ma'oid, Ma'oid, have a Shfal Ruach is tied to Toivah ha'aretz, Ma'oid, Ma'oid, the land that is exceedingly great, the land that we yearn to be in. We should all be Zoicha Taka to be in Eretz Yisrael, and here be Yomeinu B'Karet.